Tuesday, everyone. It's me, Bad Dog Craig, Bad Dog back from Brimfield, and my better half, Tired Good Dog.
I'm alive.
That's just what So we are back from Brimfield, and today we thought what better thing to do than to review a little bit about Brimfield. We take you through a little bit of the detail on it. We're actually going to build a separate video, which is like a tips and tricks video or two that we're going to post just out to the blue for the next couple of Brimfields, because we had a lot of people asking us questions and we're like, oh, you know a lot about this, especially even on our Instagram and our TikTok. But we're going to show you a few more things that we ended up picking up, talk a little bit about our trip, and show you a couple of videos from the last day that we were there, which was Thursday. So I know, Rick, you're happy to be back.
Oh no, I'm happy to be home. I like home.
Yes,
home is where my heart is.
Home is where
my napping time is best.
And a bigger bed, and Doug, of course. A big hi to everybody who's joining us here on Tuesday. Thank you so much for dropping in, especially a big hello to everybody who's a member of the Kennel Club. You'll see little icons beside your names. Hello to Janet and Lisa and Linda, Angelique. How you doing? Diana. And Diana, we got to see, now this is it, Rick. You can see it's delaying again. Tell me if you're seeing the delay. When I'm doing this with the names and I'm clicking on one, it's not clicking. I'm seeing them fade on top of each other. Is that showing up that way to you?
It's not showing up that way to me on the main window that we're connected to.
Yeah.
When I go to the YouTube screen, it does look a little delayed.
It's fuzzing, and so we'll have to try and figure that out, because that was happening last week, and I thought it had something to do. Hey, Carl. Hey, Heather. Our Brimfield buddy. Hey, Donna. Lisa. Sherry. I thought it had something to do actually with, hey, Mr. Greg, you would love this, Greg. I think you would have a huge fun time there too. I think you and Kathy would love it, and I think Diana would love it. I think that easily as well, Dawn would love it, because there's a lot of paper that I didn't even think about that was there that we saw. And Carl, as I said, it's not that far from you. But we're also going to talk a little bit about one that we're going to go to in August that I will, that's supposedly just as good, if not better. But we've never been there. So it's going to be a new one for us.
Scary stuff.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff.
As long as we don't have to stay in a crack hotel.
No. So that was a little bit of our adventure. So our adventure started off as those of you who may have seen one of our shows during our shows, or on Facebook. We started off by getting to a place in halfway down. So it's an 8.5 to 9 hour drive from Toronto down through Kingston, south through New York State, and over to where we stay is Sturbridge, which is literally 10-minute drive from Brimfield. There are no hotels in Brimfield, nothing in Brimfield at all. It's just some fields, and it's only like, honestly, it is like a mile or 2 or 3 mile strip of nothing but fields. Like, there's no other nice way to say what it is, because that's literally what it is. It's just a whole bunch of fields. In fact, if I go to this is actually everything that you see there. So this is Brimfield. This is the entire city of Brimfield. And I honestly mean this. Oh, where'd it go? Rick, are you doing something, Rick?
No, I was trying to get a map on Google Maps of where Brimfield is.
This is actually, you enter Brimfield at this little P, and that's a parking space. This is field after field after field, and this is it exiting Brimfield. That's it. This is what the entire thing takes place over this entire place. Parking is, one end is a church, the other end is a field. And the rest of it is just fields. And we showed you a couple of pictures of those sort of things. To get to Sturbridge, which is the next major street, so that's between Springfield, it's about a half an hour from Springfield to get to Brimfield. if you're going to look up Rick, let me know when you're going to switch so I know when you're switching. No, you can't. Well, you can't really park on the field because the fields are all actually being used by people. Like if you were going to build, like you might be able to find a field that would let you put your RV on there if you were actually taking a table at it. There's a couple that actually do that. But yeah, it's not very far at all. So there may be an RV park. There actually is an RV park, I think, on the way to Sturbridge that you can get to. But it's really not. It's about an hour and a half drive from Boston, half an hour from Springfield, Massachusetts. But we met people there that came from, well, Heather drove up from North Carolina. Becky Dick drove in from Cleveland, Ohio. We met people in the parking lot that had flown in from LA, flown in from San Francisco, flown in from Dallas. Like these are people, we were asking, and it just how happened that we actually met some people there who were in from France. I think our hotel said that there were some people there from Japan. We've seen other people from Japan as well that were there. And it's funny because we haven't been for 4 years. And I don't know, Rick, if you saw the Hasidic music guys.
Yes, remember? I did.
Did you? We used to always see these two Hasidic Jews who would be at Brimfield every single show we went to, but they were always searching for musical instruments. That's what they seemed to be buying. And it's funny because it's been 4.5 years, and the first field we go into, I saw them again. It was like, everybody's back once again. So it's actually a lot of fun. And
yeah, I noticed a few people walking around with shirts and hats. I buy old toys. Lamp guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, not only that, remember the one, we want porn. Remember the couple, the guy and the girl that were sitting
I don't know if they were serious or not.
Oh, no, I saw somebody else who was actually looking for porn, too. I heard a couple talking about the porn that they bought. So there was porn for sale there, too, like fetish things and things like that. So it's actually a very veritable, interesting sort of field of everything. So Brimfield itself, for those of you who may or may not be familiar, it's 3 times a year. It's America's oldest flea market. We just did the May 10th to 15th. It comes the middle of July, and that's right after Labor Day as well. So the July show is the smallest of all 3. May is the biggest. July is the smallest and the hottest.
It's also the 9th circle of hell. From what we know, there once.
Yes, because of the heat, it is quite hot. And then the September Labor Day show, the challenge with Labor Day is it sometimes gets to be rainy. So we actually had to cancel 2019 and 2020. Stephanie saw that, did she? This is actually picked up at Brimfield. This was something I picked up on the last day. So that was a little hidden sort of thing that I didn't realize you could actually see it. But yeah, I guess you can see it. Hey, Stephanie, Emma. And maybe not the porn part. By September, Diana said it may be 36 hours. Diana's moving. I guess she's moving. Actually, there were a couple of people, Greg, wearing masks. Not that many. Mainly when you went inside a tent.
Yeah, I felt comfortable only putting my mask on when I went into a tent around people.
Overall, because everything is like literally outside, there was very little. I didn't see a lot of people wearing masks. I didn't put my mask on anywhere. Rick put it on, but again, only when we went inside smaller tents. And a lot of the tents are open on all sides. The wind is blowing through anyway. So
yeah, again, paying attention to the distance between me and people. If I felt uncomfortable, the mask went on immediately.
And surprisingly,
about it wasn't a big deal.
Surprisingly, though, as well, Rick, it wasn't crowded. Like I didn't honestly feel crowded, except getting into
getting into
curtains and getting into Heart of the Mark. But as soon as you got in, it dissipated like crazy. So I'm going to show you a video right now of, so the way that it works, just again, so to jump back and forth a little bit, because I hadn't really prepped smartly like I usually do. So when you look at this map, the way that Brimfield works is it's 2 different ways that they have fields. So there's about 2,000 or so plus dealers that are at this place. It's huge. Now, what happens is a number of the fields are set up for the entire length of time. So the Tuesday, Wednesday, they opens Tuesday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And those are places like the Quaker Acres, Crystalbrook, Shelton's, all these ones that are here on this left side by the church. The ones over here, Midway, Brimfield, they are there. A couple of ones, Brimfield Barn, Collins Apple Barn. But the way that it works is on each, and I've never seen this postcard marathon place before on a map. The way that it works is each day at different times, in some cases, a field will open. So the very first day on Tuesday, that was Tuesday that we arrived at 11 o'clock in the morning. This first place, Dealer's Choice, this one right on the very, very end here, that one opened at 11 o'clock. And it opened at 11 o'clock, and across the street from it, Brimfield Acres North opened at 1 o'clock. So there was a huge crowd of people trying to get into Dealer's Choice, hundreds and hundreds of people. The doors open, and boom, you're in a field that is, I don't know, Rick, you can probably do better at guesstimating the size than I had. I know there were at least 200 plus dealers in there. I think. Yeah. And it's probably about how many feet? Like a quarter of a mile wide by a quarter of a mile deep, at least.
Yeah.
In that field.
Yep.
And no, the fields aren't themed in any way, shape, or form. The closest theme is actually in the Meadows, which has a lot of mid-century modern stuff. But generally, no, the fields actually have gates at them, front gates. And there is a charge. There is a cost to get into most of the places that you have to go into that are opening for the day. So with the first one, Dealer's Choice was $5 per person. Across the street, Brimfield Acres North was $5 per person. So they put the gates up so that you can't get in at any other time. Then the next day, when you've gone from that, you go to, that was Tuesday. Wednesday, the New England Motel by this ATM sign right in the middle, that opens at 6 a.m. Across from it, Heart of the Mart opens at 9 a.m. And then further back on this side, Her Hands opens at 12 o'clock. All of them are locked off. Heart of the Mart was $10 per person. New England Motel was $5 per person. And Her Hands, the first year, they started charging $5 per person. They used to not be roped off, but now they are roped off. Parking is amazingly easy down there. There's parking everywhere as long as you get there early in the morning. We had no problem parking anytime at all.
Yeah, I just posted a link to the website for the Brimfield Antique Market.
Yeah, even if you're not, you don't have to get there for 6 a.m. We never did. We got there for 8:30. That was sort of our goal, to get there for 8 or 8:30. And also, depending on where you're from, it takes time. So I'll give you an example. That was Wednesday. Thursday is the big day. That's Mays, which is this place here. About, I don't know, I'll guess, quarter mile wide by half a mile long, Rick?
Yeah.
It was about 70% of what was normally there. So there were a few rows less, a few spaces less. But that is the show. And the big thing about this is when you go to Mays, that's the big thing. There's Mays Antique at Brimfield, is nobody is allowed to put any merchandise out of their car. They can't take it out of their car. They can't take it out of a box. They can't take it anywhere until 9 a.m. So the big deal about that is it means to us as buyers, we get equal look at everything as the other sellers do. No sellers get to wander around in the 2 hours before setup and pick. There's none of that happening. Everything has to come out. Now, that said, 25% of the people who are there were at one of the Tuesday shows. They're one-day shows. They shut down. They moved to a different field on Wednesday, and then they moved to Mays on Thursday. So there are people who you've seen their stuff, but interestingly enough, one of the things that we bought, I'd actually seen the field on Tuesday, and they didn't have those items out. When they got to Mays on Thursday, they brought a whole bunch more items out and included stuff that I would have bought on Tuesday, but I ended up buying it on Thursday.
Yeah. Did you see Elisa's question about parking?
No, no. Parking is not free. It is paid. Every place from there's central areas and behind all the fields, parking is usually about $10 per day. So that's what you have to work to as well, is thinking about there's a parking fee and an entrance fee. On Wednesday, for example, was $10 for us to park. And then it was $20 for us to go into Heart of the Mart, and $10 for us to go into New England Motel, and $10 for us to go into J&J. So it's 10, 20, 40, 50. Like, we're already at $60 in entrance fees.
16 for Maze.
And then $16 for Maze. It was $8 per person for Maze. It is wild when Maze opens. And so I'm just going to show you a little video right now that I did for the opening of Maze. See if I can find that. Oh, it's over here. So this is the opening of Maze. See if, and it's a bit jerky. I'm sorry about that. Maze Field. It opens in 2 minutes. This is the lineup. Just to get in by that sign that's up there. And I'm going to try and get there. We're not going to rush in. We're going to wait as you start seeing the crowd crossing the street when they're not supposed to be crossing the street. So all of the people who waited get pissed off while this crowd runs across the street. So this is what the next, look at this. Sorry, it's hard for me to film it at the same time. Police are here. Get off the road. So this crowd that's there actually started lining up. We drove by it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there were already people lined up for 9 a.m. And then the people who line up across the street, and they run across the street right when the thing opens. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's got anything ready. So when we were inside Maze, this is literally what we're seeing as we got inside Maze. We saw this. People unboxing stuff. Like, this is literally, we went into Maze 40 minutes after it opened. So we got in there at 9:40, and this was still what people were doing at 9:40, getting stuff out of their boxes, getting stuff ready to take and open so people could actually see it, but they actually had not even got everything out yet. So they were trying to put stuff out as fast as they could, but it hadn't got it uncovered. People just throwing tubs so that people who looked for vintage clothing, run, dig through the clothing.
Here, help me unpack.
Help me unpack. Like, we went through one person, and so you end up having to go by people 2 or 3 times just to see the type of stuff that's there. Now, it can be a nice, easy thing. It doesn't have to be rushed. The heat can be there, but you don't have to rush through it. You can take your time. You can go to the fields that aren't open, for example, and see what it is in a field that may not be busy. It's easy to sort of handle a combination of both things, right? So you don't have to actually worry about the crowds. But you do get a chance to see things that you never would have expected to see for sale. Things like, see if I can pop this to a bigger picture, Rick. You might pop out when I go to this. I'm going to pop you out to try and get you sideways. So this is some of the interesting stuff that we ended up finding when we were there. This is a French stocking company store display. I love this. This is so amazing. Their legs fold back up. They wanted $350 for that. There was this plexiglass day glow mirror. You can see that's me in the mirror taking the picture. Oh, giant Yoda, because everybody needs a giant Yoda. This was a handmade Harley Davidson go-kart. It was so wild, the work that went into this go-kart. I love this. Look at this thing. It's a keepsake engagement ring display from a store. So it was just for one engagement ring, $175, and it works. So it lit up, and I think that the hand might have spun around on that. But you look at something like that, and you can just imagine if you had the space or things like that, it's like, oh, it was just like, again, it's just amazing looking stuff that you can end up seeing. Let me just see what else I pop in here for a second. We have so many pictures of stuff. Oh, this was a great thing too. This is an actual flight simulator, like a real built-in flight simulator. So look at this. This is the actual seat. And I got to do this. Try and there, get back. That's a flight sim. This entire thing, including the seat itself, to literally learn how to fly a real plane. And this, I think, was actually sold, if I'm not mistaken, when I went to look at it. A giant sour gummy bear. Like, why? Why not? A Ronald McDonald play set. We saw a giant tiger, stuffed tiger in a giant cage. We saw so much stuff. But again, it was just so much fun to actually go and see all the kind of stuff that are there. Part of the fun is just walking and looking at all the different things that are there. Some of the stuff that we got, we did talk to you a little bit about. I'm going to revisit a couple of those things. We showed you this little guy. So this was Crypt Keeper. We did. He has to get his clean, but we put a new battery in him. And if you ever find Crypt Keeper stuff, it's really good to try and find. With the Crypt Creeper, he should sell for in the neighborhood of $30 to $75, depending on how much somebody wants him and how better we can get him cleaned up. I did talk to you about, I showed you the picture of the Whimsy. And this is, we got two of these Whimsy dolls. This is a Whimsy Devil doll. This was in the first place we went to. It was one of the first things we ended up buying. Sorry, let me get Rick here back on the side here, like this. This was one of the first things. Where'd he go? Oh, he's not there. This is one of the first things that we ended up buying. It was stuck in a box with some other things. I saw the red hair from the back. I went, what the heck is this? Did not recognize the doll face at all. Luckily, you can actually look in their back, and in her back, right on her back there, it actually said that it was a Whimsy doll. And from Whimsy Toy and Doll Company, 1960. I thought there is a little bit of, obviously, to the felt, a couple little wear marks to it. But overall, I thought she was in pretty nice shape. She could do a tiny little bit of cleaning, but her hair did not look cut. She still has her tail. And every devil needs her tail. And I think she was $25. And let me see if I can find. This is what I found for her on WorthPoint. They've actually sold 56 of these on WorthPoint, and they range in price from $85, $95. There's one at $48, one at $119, $124. So it's interesting that you can see them here. And these don't. This for $119 does not look any better than the one that I purchased myself. And she's still got the collar. She's still got everything in there. Devil hair and fire red. So, and that went for $120 in September. So that was a pretty good buy. We did actually find a couple of other, another Whimsy doll and another doll with that at that same place. So the other Whimsy doll is going to be probably about a $75 doll. But again, I have to do a little bit more research on it. One of the other things we found, and we talked about this at Maze, and we're still trying to determine exactly what this is. We believe this is Carol Burnett, and this was part of the set of 6. We found 6 of these, all from the vendor. Remember I told you I went to a vendor on Tuesday and he didn't have anything, and then all of a sudden we go to the vendor on Thursday. This was one of the things he had on Thursday that he did not have on Tuesday. The thing that's really interesting to me about this is actually painted on the glass, but the background is painted separately. And I got another one here. Barbra Streisand in Funny Girl. So again, you can see actually from the foot, you can see the foot is painted on the glass, and the background, the curtain, is painted on something else. Reverse glass, yeah. So we're trying to figure out who this person is. I posted in a Broadway group, and I posted in Identify My Artwork, 2 really good Facebook groups. If you ever have things to try and figure out what. Identify My Artwork is a great one. So we're trying to just figure out, because it really looks like these would be the type of thing you would see on Broadway. And they all happen to be at the same time frame. So Carol Burnett happened to be on Broadway in Once Upon a Mattress. Barbara was in Funny Girl. The other ones that we picked up were Elizabeth Taylor and Elizabeth Taylor and
Richard Burton.
Richard Burton, Grace Allen, George Burns and Gracie Allen, and Cheetah Rivera. So they all are amazing. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere. They cost us $25 a piece. I do need to clean them up. There is some, you can see on this one, for example, this needs to get a bit of the years of dust, and there's a bit of moldish sort of thing underneath there. So I got to clean that off the glass. But I love those, and we love Broadway, so that's fine that we have those. At that same place that I picked up those, we also picked this up, and this is going to be something that Adrian gets to dig through. This was a box that said Skyline Plastic on it, but what was inside it? It was filled with figures, plastic figures. So these guys, some of them are marked Marks, Lewis Marks and Company on the bottom. Some are just marked Hong Kong. I think this guy's just marked Hong Kong on the bottom. But some of these guys can go for $4 or $5, depending on what the figure is. You can have a figure that could be worth $100, $200 even inside here. So various things, Roman Centurion, and that is actually just a Hong Kong figure. But this whole box is filled with those kind of figures. So I'm going to be asking Adrian for his help on this because he is Mr. Toy, toy figure, toy soldier, that sort of thing. We found this other thing. I just thought this was so cool. And we paid $5 for this. So there's a couple of things that are notoriously said about Brimfield. One is that it's only for dealers. It's all pricing that has to be like antique store pricing. No, not true. Not true at all. Becky, who I don't think is in here today, spent almost $3,000. I think she posted in the Complete Reseller, spent $3,000 there on jewelry. And if you watched our shows from our Tuesday night haul and our Wednesday night haul from there, I showed you a couple of things that Becky had actually bought for $1 or bought for $5 that she was listing for $100. She estimates her $3,000 spend is going to turn into probably $15,000 to $18,000 worth of stuff. Rick and I think we spent probably close to a little over $1,200 on everything we got. And we expect that if we're not going to have as big of a jump on it, but we do have some stuff that's got some good money. So we're hoping that it'll pull in about $3,000 to $4,000 if we can, depending on how we market some of the stuff. So like the Whimsy, a $30 investment, but it'll be hopefully a $100 thing that comes back. With those guys, I think that was $50. And so we're hoping that'll come back. This was one of our biggest finds, which we showed you, which was the Charm Collectors thing. This I'm going to split apart because this Charm Collectors album is filled with all the charms that I showed you if you did see our show on Thursday. This whole charm set cost us $15 for the entire album. The Charm Collectors album itself empty has sold on eBay for over $40. And single charms have sold in some cases for $10 a piece. I think I actually had a link to that to show you as what it was. Anyway, of course, I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. So there's the Charm Collectors album, and that's the sold album for $40 US. And then here is the listing: 374 plastic charm bells listed. These are in the sold section. So look, the feet sold for $15. This little pot, $7.99. These three things, $12.88. Sometimes people put them in a bigger lot, but that comb, $8.99 for the zebra comb. So when you look at things like that, some of them are a little bit more than others. Some are 99 cents, but there's some really amazing little charms in there, and I just would not put them into a big thing. So yeah, the thing that I don't know if it, Lisa, if it was a big thing in here. It's a company called Imperial. And this is actually what the front of the book looks like, and this is the back of the book, and it's 1985. So it's, and the case that we got is in amazing shape too. So again, that was a $15 fine that we're hoping will turn into 200 plus. So again, a lot of people say, oh, you can't make any money at Brimfield. You can, you just have to look around. You also can find stuff like, again, nowhere would I find those 6 paintings from New York. That would be amazing. But I'm more of a vintage, you know, pop culture toys, all that kind of stuff. Well, this was something I found, again, sorry, I'm all over the place. This was something I found I just thought was really cute and cost me $5. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's 12 Christmas trinket package gift cards. And each one of the cards is, I think, blank, but take a look at what they've done on these. This is really amazing little gift cards that they put together on this. The Santa face, the angel. And I might break this apart, but if I tried to sell it, I'd probably try and sell this for $50. Yes, it's Heather's got the right words. Yes, it was a reseller's vacation. That's probably the best way to think about it. It's a reseller's vacation. Heather's saying that she spent about $2,000 and they hope to make about $6,000 to cover the entire trip and more. Yeah, we don't even consider the trip itself as being like the hotel things. We don't count. We personally don't count that. This was one I found at the same guy. I think Rick would have to tell me, but I think this is at the same guy that I got the.
Yes, that was from Al.
And Al had this, and he was like, "It's broken, a little snap on here." So he's got a little snap to here, and literally he's missing whatever fits on here. He's got his little saws on the back, and it says made in Japan. And literally, Al held it up to me. He goes, I don't know. It's in Japanese. How about $10? And I was like, oh, I guess, sure. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, yes, please. $10, please. Why did I say yes, please? $10, please? Because if I can find him, I can't find that. This is why I said yes, please. Because this is exactly what it is. It's a 1976 24-inch drag-on Popeye. And that guy has, if you'll notice, nothing in his hand. That's the exact same hand. Nothing in his hand. And this auctioned for $180.
He looks like he's missing his cape too.
He actually is. He's missing. You're right. I didn't even notice that. So he sold for that, and he's missing the shoulder pieces that I got on mine. And when we do have one other thing that's part of this, I'm just not exactly sure what it is, what it belongs to. So I got to do a little bit more research. But again, this was a great find, and again, hopefully a really good flip for us when we're looking at stuff like that. I'll show you one thing that we did think about that we went back and forth on that last day when we were at Mays. The day before we were at J&J's and Hertans, as it's called, Hertans, and it opened at noon. I did a live Facebook post from there when we're going through all of that. Stephanie, I was like, oh, trade your box of Twinkies for the robot. No, because I can buy the Jurassic Park Twinkies myself. Thank you very much. Stephanie Emma has a channel on YouTube. If you don't watch it, it's a lot of fun. She shows what she sells and what she buys, but she also does quick reviews of toys that have come out and things like that. And one of the things she just did on her channel was a little video about the new Jurassic Park blue Twinkies that were at Walmart. It made me want to go and buy Twinkies. But yeah, there's no risk, I don't think, in $10.
Twinkies.
So what was that? Where was I going to? Is it this? No, where is it? Where's the one I was going to? Not that.
Well, while you're mucking around with that, I'm going to show people the overview of the fields at Brimfield. This is the picture of Brimfield during probably a May show. And as you can see, this is the main road running across here. You can see that where my mouse is. And sort of in the middle here is where Mays is. So it goes back quite a fair way. There's parking in the back. One year we actually went in the back entrance to May, which was kind of cool. And the website that I listed or that I put the link to will actually take you to this map. So you can or this it's not a map. What is it, Craigie?
It's the listing of all the fields.
It shows you when the fields open. So Mays opens at 9 a.m. on Thursday. Dealer's Choice 11 a.m. Tuesday only. So we use this as our guide to figure out which fields to go to over the course of the week.
Now, and again, some of them you'll see on that list. They're open from the Tuesday all the way through to the Friday or Saturday. And in fact, one of the fields that we went to on the Saturday, this was actually we went on the Thursday, is what we call the Lara Spencer field. And that is the Lara Spencer field because that's where they film Flea Market Flip. So I think I do have a video of that here. This is just one of the videos of some of the places. Like this is like the booth where they film, like in the area they film Flea Market Flip. And you can see, and in fact, that actually had a ski lift. And we had pictures of all sorts of stuff that you literally were like, oh, well, somebody's going to turn that little muffin tray into, like, we just walked by and, okay, there's a new, there's a bar, there's a moving bar, there's an end table, there's a lamp, it was like every Flea Market Flip craziness. You also, and this is they've been open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And take a look at this field that I went to. It's a guy who normally comes there and he dumps his estate sale stuff out. And it's literally boxes and boxes from an estate sale. They drive their camper van in there. So if somebody mentioned about staying there, they stay in their camper van. And that's literally all that it is. It's box after box. Now, this is what he still has left. You can see all the space on the ground. But this is what he still has left after 2.5 days. We hit this Thursday at 1. So he'd been open Tuesday and Wednesday and probably had some people shopping on Monday. But there was still some interesting stuff here that we looked at, and we've actually bought from them before. Surprisingly, we actually did not buy anywhere near as much as we thought. And coming back, the field that Flea Market Flip is in is it's on here. It is filmed in. No, I gotta go to this picture. Sorry, it's filmed in here in Mahogany Ridge and Stuyvesant, Sturton Vance. It's these first 2 or 3. It may even go over to Shelton's, but it's these ones right by the church. And if you actually have watched the show as well, sometimes you actually will see in the show that she's actually standing with the church behind her when she's saying, and go! So you know exactly where it's actually set. No, actually, the Flea Market Flip is open the entire time. Or the field that Flea Market Flip in is open the entire time. Why do they have vendors wait to put their stuff out until it's only in the Mays place. It's only in Mays Antiques, and it's only open on Thursday morning at 9. So every other place, when they open, they're already set up. And it's been their sales pitch for years is you get to shop the same time the dealers shop when you shop at Mays. It's actually what drives traffic crazily. So I'll tell you, Max Sold actually had a booth there that we met the Max Sold people there. Cheryl was there. Rick actually bid, if I can find a picture of the damn thing, Rick actually bid on, where is it? Rick actually bid on this in the Max Sold because it was a local pickup. So he bid on this giant lamp.
A pair of them.
Pair of these giant lamps. You can see there's Rick. There is the lamp. He bought this lamp, pair of these lamps, and we only ended up paying $14 for the pair of lamps. But the thing was, we went there to pick them up at 8 o'clock in the morning before Mays opened. Well, see, they weren't used to the fact that if you don't try to get in for Mays, normally, as I said, when we leave Brimfield, we drive that little ways to Sturbridge. It's 9.5 minutes from Brimfield into the parking lot. That same drive at 7:45 on Thursday morning, right, Rick? No, 7:15 on Thursday morning.
Yep.
Took us till 8 over at past 8 o'clock. So 10-minute drive took 45 minutes. The Max Sold people took 2.5 hours to get into town, and they were trying to get there for 9 because there's only one road in and one road out. So depending on which way you're coming,
well, one main road.
One main road and dead stops. There are some other roads, but you have to have a GPS to figure them out. So because Rick bought that, I thought I had to buy something big too. But I did stop him. I did manage to stop him from buying what? Another hand. He found another giant hand, and he was trying to pick this up. And then luckily, because if you remember, he bought a big white hand. They wouldn't sell this because it's actually theirs for the marbles. They have it on display because they're selling marbles there. But he literally was like, look, another hand. I was like, no more hands. You can't buy another hand. So again, it was a lot of fun going there. Let's see if I... One of the other things that we found, though, as I sort of mentioned before, is we went to this one place on Wednesday, and we found this. Where is it? We gotta find it. Photo. There it is. This set of needles. It's a needle book. So it's actually a box. So it's a box filled with these record needles. I'm trying to get a better picture of it. Like another Ricotron needles. So replaced with diamond needles. And the person had this on their booth, and it's actually a box that has a drawer that comes out of it, and the drawer had this. So it was filled with like 65 unused needles. So record and unused metal. Well, I just looked at it, like, whatever. That's what it is. It's 65 needles. So we happened to be at dinner that night with Heather and Bob and mentioned it, and Bob went, it had unused needles, grab it. Well, we didn't think about it. And of course, we're the guys who part everything out under the sun. We bought the Christmas market just to get rid of. He doesn't have to be that jealous anymore, Heather. They're not worth tons of money. But we went back the next day and we picked up the box. It was still there. We got it for $60. And again, these are literally the types of needles that are in there. It tells us this happened to have some that were from a company called Qualitone, diamond needles. So people who are, and the nice thing is this is the Ricotron. When it's got it in here, it actually says what it's a replacement for in terms of the actual part. So there's another one, and it's a replacement for a Magnavox. So the nice thing is they can sell for $10 to $12 a piece. So if we got 60 of these, they don't sell, the Ricotron ones themselves don't sell for big money, and they're not a huge demand. So it's going to be a long tail for us to sell those. It probably, we're going to easily make our $60 back. In fact, what we will probably end up doing is putting the box itself, like into this box, into an upcoming Max Sold, maybe with some needles in it. I don't know. We just might end up doing that. We'll check and see what we can do to get rid of the needles beforehand. And if we can't get rid of a bunch of the needles, then we'll just look at what we can. It'll be good money, what's not. So again, that's another flip, $60 flip. We might be able to make hopefully at least $200 or $300 off of it. So we're really happy about that.
Well, the odds are better now that more people are using record players.
Yes, but I did my search for everything in eBay, and Ricotron is not a gigantic name. If they were original things from original like RCA or things like that, like Elisa has, then they might be worth a little bit more because there are people looking specifically for that. But I just have to make sure, because a lot of people, when they're posting these, they're only posting the name of it, saying Ricotron, what's on the side here, like Ricotron 737D. Well, what they need to do is we'll be putting them under this. We'll be saying Ricotron General Electric model number replacement diamond needles. The only bad thing is they stink. The foam inside them has gotten a bit musty. Yeah. So we could we might do that too. We might lot some needles up for Max Sold and try that. We'll see what I'm not worried about it. $60, even $70. That's okay for us to be spending on something like that. Let me see what I like. So we got those. We found a lot of fun stuff, but we're looking forward to going to another one, and that's the one that's coming up this August. And in August, hold on a second, I just got Oh, that's so. Well, that's interesting. So Lisa just found one that happened to sell for Lisa Bowen just messaged us this one Ricotron. That's a whole box for $129, 120, 24 for $75. That's probably where they got their $85 price, since it was about half of those. I don't know if we have this turntable stylus, but again, it's going to take a little work, and that's the one thing I don't want to be worrying about. It's too much work on it. We'll do a little bit. It'll be Rick's, like, I'll list them kind of like he did with his cylinders, that is Edison cylinders, or kind of like he did with his Tamari balls. He'll put 1 or 2 or 3 ones like on at a time. So yeah, I saw that, but I don't know what a Pickering D750 or if we have that one that's sold for $131. So we might have a good one in there. We'll make sure we check them before we do. We won't throw them out. But it'll be it's an interesting find. But again, next for us is we heard before the pandemic, we heard a lot of people talking about Madison Bookville, and Madison Bookville is almost the equivalent of Brimfield in that it's one small town, and it's off the beaten path. So it's in upstate New York. Now, here, as you can see, if you can see this little dot, this little red dot, that's Bookville. And Madison is just a little bit further on here. And this entire stretch is Madison Bookville. There are no hotels. The Quacks Village Inn is closed. But there are no hotels anywhere around. And if you're wondering where it is, let's take a drop back. Yeah, drop back. Where is Bookville? Nope. Drop back. Where is it? Nope. Where the heck is it? You got to keep going back. You got to keep going back. And then you actually are starting to figure out, oh, there's Syracuse, New York. There's Bookville. There's Albany. So it's kind of, the closest big city is Syracuse to it. And so it's about a 5.5 hour drive. But the closest hotels are literally up along the edges here. Casino, it's all around here. It is a 5-day. This is an image from it. It's a 5-day sale. And this 5-day sale doesn't have special fields, doesn't have paid admission to any fields, but it does talk about the fact that it has over 1,000, I think, vendors or something like that, or over 2,000 vendors. Can't remember the exact amount. I don't know where Rick is because he's disappeared again. Because I did have a web page up here.
Huh? What?
Where did you disappear to?
I took myself off screen because you were talking about stuff that I didn't need to be involved with.
Oh, okay. I know, but you ended up disappearing to my second row, so I couldn't find you.
Oh.
Because when you added the extra things
I'm in the basement. I'm in the basement.
Well, no, but it ended up that, you went into the basement of my listing of everything that's in here. So for Madison Bookville, we're going to be doing that. That's in August. I'm trying to see if I can find the page for them now. Antique Week in Madison Bookville. That's not the right page. I had a page and I lost it. So we're going to go to that. We're going to do the same thing with you guys. We're going to take you through what it is to go down there, what it's like. There's an Antique Week post in Facebook for them, celebrating. There's 2. June the 5th is a small amount of people, but the main one, I can't seem to find it. And Rick looks like he's looking at that. Did you find it? There. You're not on the stream.
The bigger show is August 15th to 21st.
2,000 dealers, 13 show fields. So this is
fun for everyone.
Only 24 hours for Lisa to drive to Bookville. Now, the thing is, we were debating what we were going to do, because this is just it. We have 3 options that we could have done. There is a closer to Lisa, but there is the 127 longest garage sale, which goes from lower Michigan all the way down through Kentucky. There's also a longest garage sale that goes through Michigan, from Detroit all the way to the other end of Michigan. So take a look online and see what you can find. You may find that there are other largest garage sales, largest antique fairs or something like that. And it might just be, for those of you who are in the Canada, it might just be a little bit of a jaunt across the border. But if you are in the Ontario region, it is an amazing thing to go to try and see Brimfield. We're planned for September as well. So we're planned for Madison Bookville in August, and we're planned for September in Brimfield again.
Yep.
Whenever we do September in Brimfield, we always make sure that we have cancelable hotels and check what's going to happen with the weather, because we've had some really great Septembers, but the last two Septembers, 2018 and 2019, when we could go, it was literally like rain. So we canceled both the trips and didn't have to worry about our hotel room. You have to find something else to do. I know it may cause you time to have taken off work, and if you took off work, figure out some other thing. Oh yeah, so that's right, Don. You are just an hour and a half from the Michigan border. So the one that I was talking about there is, I found one that is happening. It is the Michigan longest garage sale. I'll just pop that up. The US 12 Heritage Trail sale. So this is another one. This is Don. This is closer to you. The only reason we didn't look at it is it's going to take us so long to get there. So here's the trail itself for that. It goes from Detroit, right up here on the top corner. Let's see if I can get that to go bigger. From Detroit all the way over. You're off, Rick, again, and you're talking.
You were showing my screen, not yours.
Oh, there it is. So it's from Detroit all the way through Michigan. So that's coming up as well for somebody who may be closer to that. I'd love to know what people are thinking about that. I can't remember the dates. Where is it? It's on the event calendar. Okay, can't find it. But you can look that up. There's also the 427, which is south, the largest garage sale ever. Bunch of different ones that you can take a look at that might be interesting. But again, if you're in, I think if Heather and Bob can drive up from North Carolina, if Becky can drive from Cleveland, if we can drive from Toronto down to Brimfield, it's really worth your while to do it. Now, hotel rooms have to be booked well in advance for Brimfield. So if you're thinking about going next May, think about booking a cancelable hotel room probably by July or August, because the rooms can be okay to very expensive. So the hotel that, for example, that's on the cheaper end, the Econo Lodge, which is where Heather and Bob stayed, is on the cheaper end. I think because it's that week, they jack the prices up. So it might be closer to 150, 170 bucks a night US. The hotel we stayed in was closer to $300 a night US. So it is expensive, but that's you can get cheaper by staying further away. And I think Becky stays out of town. We used to stay the first couple of years. We stayed in places like Chicopee and Springfield, but we just didn't want to do the drive-in. We liked being 10 minutes away. We could get up later and go over there. So that just think about it and plan well in advance. So again, we had a ton of fun. We spent a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, we didn't spend as much as we thought. We ended up coming back on the Thursday night because we were going to drive and spend the weekend in Rochester. And then the hotel we got to in Rochester had just painted all of its rooms. So every room stank of paint. And I said, do you have any rooms that have not just been painted? And they're like, no. I was like, we can't. You literally could open the door to one. You could, the paint fumes came wafting out. Oh, this one was painted like 3 hours ago. It's like, I'm not spending 3 days in a freshly painted room. So unfortunately for us, we ended up deciding, okay, I guess it's time for us to drive all the way home. So we literally ended up driving all the way home. It was good because we actually got to be able to do stuff at home on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I went garage selling, found some interesting stuff, threw it into our Max Sold, which we launched yesterday. So our next Max Sold actually launched and is on for the next week or so. And put stuff from our Brimfield trip into this Max Sold. Those big lamps that Rick bought at Max Sold are already in our next Max Sold. So there's things that are in our Max Sold that we got back on Friday, took photos of them, and got them in our Max Sold that launched already. So Yeah, possibly, but our challenge is right now they won't give us our money back, because when we checked in, they basically charged us for the 3 nights, and then when we said there's no room, they won't give us our money back. So we're fighting right now to get our money back on that. But it's still, we'll figure out. Hopefully we'll get that back. But we had fun, and that's the whole thing. Everything we did at Brimfield was fun. It was a great, unbelievably, strangely relaxing, 16 to 18,000 steps a day for 3 days in a row. Up earlier than Rick and I have been up in ages. And I mean ages.
But we went to bed earlier than we've gone.
We went to bed a lot earlier, but we were like up and at 'em at 7 o'clock in the morning, which we don't do now that we're semi-retired. It was so much.
My hand from pulling the cart.
He strained his hand from pulling a cart around. He's like literally bruised his arm because he pulled the cart so much around. I kept saying, "Didn't I say to you though? Can I take the cart? Can I take the cart? Can I take the cart?" And what did you keep saying to me?
No, honey, I've got it.
And I said, "No, give me the cart. Give me the cart." And you say,
"No, honey, I've got it."
Yeah. And now we get home and he's like, "My arm, I can't lift anything." We bought a cart to go down there because Rick refused to go down without one. So it was one of those collapsible carts. We got it at on Amazon. It was just one of those, boom, folds up in a nice little thing and pops out with a little base on it. So it was well worth.
It did save my back.
Oh, it was great, except pulling it along gravel was a little bit bumpy.
Yes.
But you could do it, Tina. You could do it over 2 days. Like, think about going and staying there. Think about it as a long vacation, and think about going and driving 8 hours one day and 8 hours the next.
Craigie.
Yes.
I learned something.
Oh, that's right. This is one of the things he wanted. This is one of the things he wanted to talk about, and I forgot that he wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Craig showed these when we were in Brimfield. We basically got a box of about 20 of these milk glass, made in Japan, figural Christmas bulbs. And the box, we were told that this was the box of all of the working lamps or bulbs. And the guy gave us, I think, 4 or 5 other bulbs that weren't working. And I found out that you can actually test these bulbs using a 9-volt battery. And you basically touch the battery to the bulb in a particular way and it lights up. It's so cool.
The thing that's amazing about that was we thought, we're going to have to find
a string
and buy the string to take those things just to test them to see that they actually work. And you're holding them up too low, Rick.
Oh, sorry.
Think about it this way. Where would my face be on the screen? Because you'd basically be holding it in front of my face.
True. Sorry. This is probably my favorite. It's the little winky star.
But it's really great because now when we're posting those, we can actually show them lit.
Yep. It's hard holding the battery.
Hard holding them, but yeah. So it's just that's a great tip. We'll actually remind people about that as a tip in the Kennel Club as well. The bulbs, we paid $100 for the 20 bulbs, right?
Yep.
But we weren't.
If you factor in all of the other things we got from Al's booth, I think.
Yeah, he had bought. He's the guy that gave me this. Gave me this for like $10. He's the guy that gave me this for $15. So the idea that we were going to pay $100 for them, he wanted over $150 for them, and so I just went as soon as he said $100. Yeah, because that's nice. I just thought, you know what, I'll give him $100 for them, and we'll be happy with those. So,
Elisa, it doesn't matter which side of the battery you touch to the bulb. It's either positive to one side, negative to the other, or the other way around. It doesn't matter.
So Adrian says, so that's like $8.50 Canadian. Well, no, it's 20% right now is the exchange rate, so 120 Canadian for those. we sell on US on eBay.com. We list on Etsy on .com or on US dollars, so we don't worry about the Canadian exchange. But at the end of the day, our whole trip was fun. It cost us money, but it's the same as going to Disney World, as going to Vegas, as going to, if we went to stay in New York, we don't think about the price of the airline. We don't think about the price of the hotel. We do, but it's like the stuff you're doing while you're there, the shopping, the shows, and everything like that is part of vacation. That's the value. So the fact that it took us 2 full tanks of gas to drive down there, and gas in Canada is about 40%, 30 to 40% higher than it is in the US right now. It is close to, well, now it's actually almost $8 a gallon. Right?
Yeah, they're 3.8.
Yeah, and yesterday it went to it's over $2 a liter right now, and it's 3.8 liters in a gallon. So it's almost $8 a gallon. So those of you in the US who are complaining about $4.50 a gallon, we're paying $8. And we're in Toronto. In Vancouver, it's closer to $9 a gallon. Even though the Canadian US exchange, it still doesn't make it any better. With about 2 full gallons of gas to get there, that's $200 in gas. About $1,000 for a hotel as well. Yep. But it was, again, it was well worth it. If you live in New York or like Manhattan, at least like you can drive. If you do that, at least you can drive to Brimfield. But again, Brimfield in July, terribly hot. And last year they had monsoons in July. So literally there was so much rain. People were just telling us all these stories about they just sat on their tables and drank, because it was so wet and rivers were coming in. So it's like, try not to. Plus, it's about 20%, 30% of the people who go in September. So it's the lowest possible amount. So at least we know with Madison Bookville, it's 2,000 vendors who know it's going to be freaking hot. And we know it's going to be hot. So we're going to have our sunscreen. I found the best sunscreen. Look, not a single burn on my head. And I didn't even wear a hat the entire
sunscreen on your arms, though.
No, there's a little bit of a burn on my arms, a little bit of color there. But for my head not to get burnt, for 3 days without wearing a hat and up to 82-degree weather, that was pretty good sunscreen for this guy. So thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit more learning about our trip for Brimfield. If you can, we'd love it for you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, but I think everybody here subscribes. And thanks again to everybody who supports us in the Kennel Club. We are going to be doing another video that's all about Brimfield itself, just to get a tighter, better sort of thing that we'll be putting on YouTube. We are going to be preparing. Next week we'll be doing a Tuesday show. We haven't figured out the topic yet. It might be one that Carl and I have talked about, which is things we regret buying. But it might be something else. I'm not sure yet. And next Thursday will be our next live Max Sold closing, which is all about vintage. It's a vintage show. So all vintage Max Sold. So crossing our fingers on it. We have 2 lamps in it that we hope will pull over $300 a lamp. And we'll see what happens with that. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us here. We hope to see you soon. Well, I'm Bad Dog, back from Brimfield.
I'm Good Dog in the basement.
As usual. Well, we're out of here.